Commissioner Barnett,
Here.
Commissioner Baxter, Commissioner Bernard,
Here.
Vice Mayor Marino,
Here.
Mayor Sachs,
Here.
Commissioner Weiss, Commissioner
He's
Woodward.
here.
Thank you.
All right, we have a quorum. Sir, we're going to start. We're going to move now on to our regular agenda. And if I could refer you all to 5A1, which begins on page 42.
Mayor, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adopt 5A1.
Very good. And note that there is no cost to the county. Do I have a second?
Second.
I see a second from, I have 2 seconds, Commissioners Weiss and Commissioners Bernard. All those for, anybody opposed, see that it passes unanimously. Thank you. That was fast, wasn't it, gentlemen? Patrick, and I could, we take, I want to just make sure that we take care of the issue at Mission Bay with the water. Okay? Thank you, sir. Now we're looking at 5B1, airports, 5B1A. And I think we can go right on to Ms. County Attorney, A and B on a motion, unless there, if we have, I know that I saw Ms. Baby here. Do we need a staff report on this, or can we proceed?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 5B1A and B.
Very good. We have a second from Commissioner Weiss. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously. Nice job, Laura. Nice job. Moving right along to 5C1A
And B.
and B.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 5C1A and B.
Very good. We have a first, we have a second from Commissioner Bernard. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously. You see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6-0. Thank you. Nice job. Nice job. Good to see you. And then we have 5D1, A and B.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve item 5D1A and B.
Good. I have a first. I have a second by Commissioner, I have a first by Commissioner Bernard. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously. I just want the record to reflect, I had no idea we had a King Gary III here in our county. We must be a very important county. Now we have an add-on, and we do have a card. Or not? For the add-on? No. All right, we're going to move on to the add-on, which is 5D2. And we have a receive and file on 5D2A and B. And we have staff here on that issue as well. I have a question of staff. Does anybody else have a question or comment on this? Okay.
Actually.
Now, on this issue, well, first let me hear from the attorney first.
Madam Mayor, it was my understanding that on 5D2B, 5D2B, I
Right,
think,
that's right, that's great.
what do you know? I think that they were going to postpone that item till the 22nd. I may be incorrect on that. We need to ask staff how they wanted to handle that.
Okay. Ms. Baker, you're recognized.
We've actually pushed this forward. It's really, if the board wants us to delay it, and I'm looking at the item that deals with TV and its temporary utilization. If the board wants to delay that portion, we'll bring that back when we come back with the contract on October 22nd, if that is the board's direction. But we will need to take that action because we will not be in a position to complete the transaction with Vanderbilt without that release. Now, there could be some other deals behind that, but we're going to need to have that clear title. That is why we're bringing it to you. And I think on September 17th, when this, was it 17th? September, when we brought it to the board before?
We provided comments at that point, but that motion was
Was in
not
there.
discussed.
My concern is that it's an add-on. I remember that motion. I probably was part of that discussion to have a status today on October 8th. But I do recognize that the whole contract will come back before the board on October 22nd. Is that what you're saying, Ms. Baker?
Yes,
And is that
That's
your
correct.
understanding, Ms. County Attorney?
That's correct.
Okay, I don't know which number came up here first. I have 3 lights, so let me go to Commissioner Woodward first.
Thank you, Mayor. Just, could we hear a brief report from staff about the,
Yes, we
where
are.
we are in the negotiation? And
We are.
then whether, the timing of Part B of this amendment, I'd like to just have staff give us a little guidance on that, please.
That would be good, and I'm sure she will. Now, Commissioner Weiss and then Vice Mayor Marino. Okay, very good. And Vice Mayor Marino?
Thank you. I know we had a lot of folks that were here before the lunch break that were interested in this discussion. I don't know if they are in the line to get back in, but I'd appreciate it if they were here all morning waiting for us for this topic. Could we make sure that if they're in
I
before
have
we
a
get started?
suggestion. Maybe, and you have a very well-placed point. Let's do this. If the board is okay with this, can we move on to the, at least for the appointments, to give these folks an opportunity to get through the line? Would that be fine, Vice Mayor? Okay.
You want to
Very
reorder the
good.
agenda?
Yes.
That's fine.
We're, and you don't have to go too far, Isame. You never do. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just proceed with the district appointments, if that's okay? I'm sorry, County Attorney?
I'm sorry, can we go ahead and get a motion to reorder the agenda so that we
I'll
have
make
it
a motion, we
technically?
reorder the agenda to
Second
take
that.
6A1 first.
Oh, very good. And all those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0. Okay, we're just going to reorder it. So let's go on to district appointments at this time. And looking at,
Actually, you have to go to 6A1 first.
I have a district appointment, but I'll wait till, Vice Mayor Marino, you've got your light on. Go right ahead.
Well, before district appointments, it says administration 6A1, so that would be before
Very good.
commissioner. So I just,
We can go right ahead with board appointments first, and then we'll go district appointments. So looking at 6A1, we have a motion to approve that could be pending here on the appointment of 1 member to the Healthcare District for a period of 4 years, beginning on October 8th, today, and ending September 30th, 2028. So we have 2 names, and what I can do is, if you'd like, Vice Mayor Marino, would you like to speak at all on behalf of your appointee or not?
I was asked to submit Joe Gibbons' name, and I happily did. I know he's a qualified gentleman, but I see that we have another person here, so whoever's best for the job, and we as a board will choose that. So I'm all in favor of whomever the board chooses.
Very good, thank you. There's also Julio Boreto from, who's a Palm Beach County resident, and he was nominated by myself and Commissioner Baxter, and I received an email this morning saying that he's also recommended by the firefighters. So, Commissioner Baxter, did you have anything to say on behalf of your nominee?
Just that I believe he would do a great job, so whomever the board chooses.
Okay, very good. Okay, anybody
So,
else wish to
Mayor, I'll
opine
make
on this
the-
subject?
I'll make the motion to,
To appoint, and then
To appoint
what
him.
we're going to do, and I'm looking at our clerk, Maverick, right? That we take a vote on each one, and then the one who gets the highest? Higher? Yeah, pardon me?
Why don't we just have each commission member choose one and go down the line?
That would be fine, we'll do a roll call vote. Go right ahead, sir.
Commissioner Bernard,
Julio A. Barato.
Commissioner Weiss,
Barato.
Commissioner Woodward,
Barato.
Commissioner Barnett,
Julio Barato.
Commissioner Baxter,
Julio A. Barato.
Vice Mayor Marino,
I'll go with the board. Mr. Barato.
Mayor Sacks.
Julio Barato.
7 votes for Julio Barato.
Very good. Congratulations, Mr. Barato. And that is the will of the board. Let's go ahead with our commission district appointments. And I'm going to start to my left side with Commissioner Barnett. Do you have any district appointments?
Thank you, Mayor. I have no district appointments.
And Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to appoint Aaron Warmus to the Citizen Committee on Airport Noise and Josie Makovic on the Advisory Commission on Women.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to reappoint Shannon Materio to the Advisory Commission on Women.
Very good. And Commissioner Bernard?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'd like to reappoint Bishop Walter O'Shea Granger to the Sports Commission, and I'd like to reappoint Mr. Mohammed Albana to the Discover the Palm Beaches, Inc. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And Commissioner Baxter?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to appoint Annie Eiffel to the Library Advisory Board.
Thank you. And Vice Mayor Marino?
Thank you. I'd like to reappoint Mr. Andrew George to the Discover the Palm Beaches Advisory Board.
Very good. And the mayor's office would like to appoint Lori Vinegar to the Water Utilities Department Advisory Board. Very nice. All right, we're moving along nicely. We're going to go now on to staff comments.
I have our board directives. I would like to highlight, because it wasn't in here, but the commission staff salaries and titles are complete. Staff, we should have been in touch with each of you to identify who your chief of staff would be. There was assumption made that shouldn't have been made, so we've cleaned that up, and that has been completed. Our solar panel policy update, staff is in the process of reviewing it with our codes and will report out to the board no later than the November workshop. Named road, Lake Lido Park Drive, roadsides are anticipated to be installed by the end of October. And then the term of the supervisor of elections, staff is in the process of finalizing their review of that and will report out to the board as soon as possible. And then I'd ask the board to receive and file the remainder of the directives.
Got a first and a second by Commissioner Bernard. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously.
Mayor, may I
7
be recognized?
to 0. Who's speaking? Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Could we have the maker restated for the record, please?
Did you get the first and the second, Mr. Clerk? Very good. Okay, very nice. And County Attorney.
Good afternoon. I would just like to remind the board of something that you all know, but whenever there is pending litigation with the county, we strongly recommend that the board not engage in discussion or conversation regarding that litigation in a context where it may come back up again against you. The litigation will resolve itself. There is a mediation process in litigation. And just to remind the board, in case there are constituents who ask to discuss it with you, that we always recommend that you not discuss it and/or have a member of council with you while you listen, but not discuss. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Mrs. Turner. Anything else? You've been very helpful today. Thank you. Okay, let's go on now to comments by the commissioners. And this time I'll start on my right, Commissioner Baxter. Any commissioner comments?
Mayor, I would like to request an off-site proclamation for Farm City Week on November 20th.
I believe we need a vote on that? I don't think so, but I didn't hear what you said. What?
I'm requesting an off-site proclamation for Farm City Week,
Okay,
the
very
week
good.
of November 20th.
Very good. We have a first, we have a second from Commissioner Weiss. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0. Anything else, Commissioner Baxter? Okay, Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. She's not in here right now, but we recently took in a new intern for our office, and her name is Ivory Polk. Although we're going to recognize her, but she had to leave. But I just want to welcome Ivory Polk as our new intern in our office. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple things. I want to share with the board on last Friday, I had an opportunity to visit the University Marine, University Marine Science Lab down in Boca, and seeing the research work that they're doing down there, and as always, just amazed by the great work that's being done at FAU and the work they're doing in terms of the research on turtles and their habitat, and they're an important part of Palm Beach County as well, so appreciate them doing that. Yesterday, again, was October 7th of 2024. That is, of course, the anniversary of the horrendous event in Israel and the slaughter of almost 1,200 Israelis. And had an opportunity, I want to thank the Federation hosting an event last night. Over 2,000 people attended. It's been a difficult year for Israel. It's been a difficult year for any of the Jewish people here in this country as well.
No.
And I think we're all hopeful that this can be resolved and this fighting can end, but they need to bring home the hostages. They've got to get them home. And so appreciate all the support the community has given. And then lastly, I also want to speak to our Haitian American community. There was statements made regarding potential or members of the Haitian American community, in this case specifically in Ohio, regarding eating animals. I just want to make sure that they understand we have a large, wonderful Haitian American community here in South Florida. I just want them to know we have their back, that they are supported here, that we know that those reports were not true, and they're an important part of our fabric here in Palm Beach County. They're an important part of our community, and I'm proud to have the Haitian American community here. And my heart goes out for anything that had happened to them, any terrible things that have been said. So I just want to recognize my support. And then lastly, we had a town hall last Friday over at Century Village in discussion of the possible purchase of the La Quinta Hotel as a place for senior housing. And I know we have a number of folks here that are going to be wanting to speak to us on matters by the public, but I appreciate staff coming out, explaining what they're, if in fact they're successful with this in bringing back a proposal to us and making sure that we understand what they're proposing operationally, as well as the proposal itself and the purchase. And then my last thing is I'm requesting an off-site approval for a proclamation declaring October 2024 as 7-Eleven Community Engagement Month.
Okay, we have a second.
Thank you.
7-Eleven. Second, Commissioner Baxter. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner, for those remarks. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like to request an off-site proclamation celebrating the 10th anniversary of Barky Pines Animal Rescue and Sanctuary, where we also got little Fritz. So,
Aw, that's Fritz's
Thank you.
home.
yes.
All those for Fritz? Anybody opposed? See that it
Don't
passes
oppose Fritz.
unanimously.
Yeah.
7-0.
I would also like another offsite proclamation declaring November 7th, 2024 as Signature Gives Back Third Annual Volunteer Day.
We have a second from Commissioner Weiss. All those for? Anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimous.
Thank you.
7-0.
And I'd just like to say to all of our citizens out there, we did just have a press conference. A lot of the mayor spoke. We had our administrator, a number of county, giving us very good advice on what's coming in the next couple of days to stay safe, stay calm, where no one needs to panic, although South Florida or South County is out of gas right now, but there is gas in Broward, my husband just told me. Hopefully this is a good practice run for us with our hurricane preparedness skills, and we will be able to help our fellow citizens in the other part of the state, and hopefully ourselves are unscathed by this. But everyone, please stay safe and dry.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Woodward. Commissioner Barnett.
Thank you, Mayor. Hoping and praying that we all get through this coming storm safe and sound. And when we do, I expect to see everyone at the American German Club on Saturday celebrating Oktoberfest. Enjoy the bratwurst and lots of beer. It's going to be a great time. It always is. And I have the honor of tapping the keg. Thank you very much to the American German Club for that honor once again. I want to thank Ismay and Facilities for working to get that project over at PBS. So headquarters completed. It's important that our law enforcement personnel who work at headquarters have a safe and secure parking lot to come in and out of every single day. Thank you for that. With regards to the Office of Equal Business Opportunity, one thing that wasn't brought up I wanted to mention briefly was the process. I'd love not a workshop, but if someone might be willing to come to my office from the agency to discuss the process of granting contracts and bids to primes versus subcontractors. We've had some complaints brought to my attention that they feel that there's a preference given to contractors, and the rules are created in a way as to benefit general contractors, primes, as opposed to subcontractors. Want to see if there is validity to those complaints and what we can do to rectify it sooner rather than later. Well, I would appreciate that. Thank you. It's great to see everybody here today. It shows that even in bad weather, people who care about issues are willing to show up and discuss them. And they did that here today, and we did that last night in Lake Clark Gardens. I want to give a shout out to the board of directors and the residents of Lake Clark Gardens who came to my town hall meeting yesterday. I also want to thank Ed Chase and Casey Denny for presenting a presentation on the condo assessments, the special assessments issue that are affecting condo residents across my district and Palm Beach County. It was a full house. We had almost 120 people there. We collected petitions, 116 petitions last night, people who are heeding our call to the legislature and the governor to open up a special session of the legislature to find a solution to grant condo owners relief from these assessments and the fees that they're having to pay. Thousands and thousands of dollars. I talk to residents who own condos in my district, and they tell me all the time their neighbors on the third floor or next door have already had to sell, already leaving the area because they just can't afford to pay the tripling and quadrupling of their condo fees. There was a woman who, her family gave us permission to share her really tragic story. She was a 96-year-old woman who didn't know what to do. She was not willing to burden her family or friends with this expense that she was burdened with, and tragically, she felt no other option other than to take her own life. Really, I mean, this is real as it gets. And this is a problem we in the county didn't create. And we're going to be pressuring our friends in Tallahassee, and I'm encouraging all of you to reach out to your representatives and senators and the governor's office and ask them and demand that they get together, whether at the organizational meeting after the election or at a special session sometime before the end of the year, to convene and find a solution. We've already, at the board level, discussed potential solutions, but we need more time. It all starts with the legislature moving this January 1st deadline at least a year or maybe 2 years out to give us a chance to fix this problem and give condo owners relief in my district and throughout Palm Beach County and everywhere in Florida where condo owners are threatened with eviction or losing their homes or having to sell or end up on the streets. What else do I have? Yep. It's going to be a dangerous storm, but it looks like we may get some wind, right?
A little bit.
Minimal winds, but still not minimal winds. It's not
minimal.
going to be minimal. What we're going to experience here is not to be taken lightly. Please listen to our administrator. We did participate in a press conference upstairs about half an hour ago. Listen to your elected officials and the government officials when they tell you this is a dangerous storm, not just for the folks on the West Coast, but right here in Palm Beach County. We'll see you on October 12th at the festival. Be safe, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnett. And now Vice Mayor Marino.
Thank you. Yes, please be safe. And for all of you that are trying to go buy water, may I suggest that you fill every Yeti container that you have in your house, every plastic container that you have in your house, fill them with water. 2 reasons. One is it doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to go to the store and wait in line to buy. And 2, you don't have to worry about recycling plastic. We have plenty of containers in our homes that we can do this. I did a video a couple years ago, and I had all of the containers all lined up in my kitchen. I could have filled a bathtub, actually more. So please do that before you go running to the store and buying water in plastic jars, plastics that you have to then recycle. Please be safe. Please make sure you have ice for your medication. I know that's something that a lot of times people seem to forget, is that if you have medication and it needs to be cold, make sure you have ice. If you haven't already taken ice and put it in a Yeti cooler and made some more ice, go ahead and do that. So prepare like we're going to get a storm. Keep your fingers crossed that we don't get the worst impact of this storm. Please all be safe. Please stay off the roads. Don't worry if your driveway floods a little bit, if your street floods a little bit. I live in PGA National. Our driveways flood. It was actually designed to do that. That's the lowest part of the road is the bottom of our driveway. Just please be safe and don't walk in the water. Don't play in the water. If you're going to, please wear boots. Be safe. Be cautious. And you know what? Look in on your neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And from the Mayor's office, at the September 10th BCC meeting for the Canvassing Board alternative member seat to Commissioner Weiss, Mr. Irvin Jakobitz was appointed to serve in that capacity for the 2024 November general election. We would also like to extend the capacity for Mr. Jakobitz to serve as an alternate member to Vice Mayor Maria Marino, who was appointed to serve in the capacity as a substitute member of the Canvassing Board for the 2024 November general election. In addition, we would also like to appoint Mr. Robert Shalob, who previously served for 31 years as a member of the Lake Clark Shores Town Council, and also served as past president of the Palm Beach County League of Cities as an alternate member to both Commissioner Greg Weiss and Vice Mayor Maria Marino on the Canvassing Board for the 2024 general election in November. So if I could have a motion for both of those appointments, we could go ahead and take a vote on that now. Thank you. I have Commissioner Weiss makes a motion and a second by the Vice Mayor. All those for. Anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0. Commissioner Barnett.
My apologies, Mayor. I neglected to request 2 off-site proclamations, if I may do so.
No, absolutely. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to request approval for an off-site proclamation declaring October 15th, 2024 as White Cane Safety Day.
Very good. And do I have a second? I do, from Commissioner Baxter. All those for. Anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0.
Thank you. And the second one, I'd like to request approval for an off-site proclamation honoring the Craig S. Bernard American Inns of Court.
Very good. I'll have a second from Commissioner Bernard. I don't know, is that proper? I see, it's Barnard, not Bernard. We have a second from Commissioner Bernard. All those for, anybody opposed, see that it passes unanimously, 7-0. And that does it, Commissioner Barnett. And I just want to say that October 7th was the other day, 2024, but as the former ambassador to the United States of Israel said, every October 7th is 2023. It has been the worst attack since the Holocaust on Jewish people, and it continues today. I'm very fortunate to have been married into a Holocaust family, and this is very personal to me, to my children and our grandchildren. We are experiencing anti-Semitism in this country and in this county. And let the record reflect, I will not, and neither will our sheriff or any law enforcement, tolerate any acts of anti-Semitism at any time in this county. They will be met, yes. We are better. We are better than that, and we will protect our people, no matter what religion or race they are. But this will not ever be tolerated here in Palm Beach County. And that is a day that we'll never forget. Now, I wish it was better news, but this Milton 5, I just got a report. Milton is that hurricane that's coming across from the Gulf, and it is intensifying because of the hot seas, the humid air, and the wind shear. Now, we're not going to get a direct hit as we sit here today, but we will be affected. And I urge everyone to do everything that is necessary to protect yourselves, your pets, your families, and your neighbors. This is not our first rodeo. We've been through hurricanes before. And we also know that the two best words is the Boy Scouts, right? Be prepared. Be prepared. And we will be prepared. We have a telephone number. If you lose internet, you can always call us and get any information that you may need as to shelters or anything that you may need for emergency services. Know that your county government is here for you. And with that note, we're going to go back to our regular agenda. We skipped a part, and if we could do that, Madam County Attorney, we will at this time.
Yes,
I think
5D2.
it was, correct me if I'm incorrect, 5D2, which is an add-on, and I believe the last person speaking on that, if you wish to continue, was the Vice Mayor. But do we want to hear a report from staff on this? Okay, very good. Identify yourself and who's in the staff, and we'll get started.
Happy to do so. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Isami Ayala, Assistant County Administrator and Director for Facilities Development and Operations. With me today is Howard Falcon, Chief Assistant County Attorney. The item that this board has in front of it for its consideration, my apologies, has two motions. A motion to receive and file our staff report regarding the status of the negotiations with Vanderbilt University towards the execution of a development and conveyance agreement for the development of an educational campus, which will include approximately 5 acres of county-owned property located in the city of West Palm Beach, what we call the Government Hill area. This item also recommends that staff be authorized to revoke the license agreement for the use of county-owned property, which was granted to Transit Village LLC for the use of a portion of those properties called Government Hill that will be eventually, if the board approves, conveyed to Vanderbilt University. With that said, allow me first to provide you an update as it relates to the negotiations with Vanderbilt. Since we were provided direction by this board back in August 2024, a total of 8 negotiation meetings have taken place with our counterparts from Vanderbilt. As of last Friday, we're happy to report we have reached conceptual agreement in all open matters that were under discussion. We continue to draft, but once you have reached an agreement, conceptual agreement on where you're heading, then drafting, as you all can imagine, becomes easier, right? So we are refining that document. We're jointly working towards having that agreement in a final form for consideration by this board during the October 22nd, 2024 regular meeting. We have received the updated appraisals for the properties. You may remember that when this board approved the agreement with the University of Florida for the same real estate holdings, we had appraisals done. At that time, the property had appraised around $42 million. The revised appraisals point to a property value of $46 million. That is basically a 9% increase. In compliance with the requirements of the county's real position leasing ordinance, which we commonly know as the PREM ordinance, we have scheduled a meeting for the Property Review Committee to take place on October 17, 2024, at which time they will have an opportunity to proceed per ordinance requirements and make a recommendation to this board as to the potential transaction with Vanderbilt University. So that's basically where we stand as it relates to negotiations with the university. The second motion, as I stated before, is a staff request to be authorized to revoke the license agreement for the use of county-owned property, which was granted to Transit Village LLC for the use of a portion of those properties that we mentioned before, for parking purposes. If I am able to provide you a little bit of background on that regards, allow me to share that back on December 2nd, 2022, following board direction, we executed a license agreement for temporary storage, construction activities, and temporary parking in connection with the agreement for purchase and sale that the county and Transit Village had entered for development of what is known as the Wedge property. In order for the board to enter into a development and conveyance agreement with Vanderbilt University, the properties, the real estate holdings that are the subject of the agreement must be free from encumbrances, licenses, and or other type of obligations. In March 2024, Transit Village sued the county requesting specific performance under the purchase and sale agreement. That litigation remains active. On August 22nd, 2024, Transit Village sent a letter to staff notifying staff and the county of its willingness to work with the county and Vanderbilt to incorporate the license agreement into a potential development and conveyance agreement with Vanderbilt University. Given the active litigation between the county and Transit Village, the timeline for development of the Wedge property is uncertain, and staff ability to simultaneously engage with Transit Village and Vanderbilt is limited by the constraints resulting from the legal proceedings. Therefore, our recommendation to this board was via the agenda item that we be authorized to revoke that license agreement so that then the agreement with Vanderbilt can proceed. This concludes staff presentation, and as usual, we will take any questions as you deem it appropriate.
Thank you so much, Isami. I have a question, and maybe it's to Ms. Baker. This is an add-on. I don't have any issues with 5D2A regarding the status report of negotiations with Vanderbilt University. I do have an issue, Ms. Baker, with 5D2B, that we will take a vote on revoking a license agreement to an entity who may not have been given notice today to be here. And I understand that one may be tied to the other. However, it is tenuous for us as a board, in my opinion, to revoke a license agreement to an entity that is Transit Village LLC on an issue that they were not given notice to at all. And I know that the October 8th date, and I think it was my colleague and I, it was Commissioner Bernard, and I really wanted October 8th, so I don't have any issue with the status on Vanderbilt. I do have a serious issue, a legal issue, with revoking a license agreement for an entity that is part of an add-on and was not part of the irregular agenda as noted for today. How do we address this, Ms. Baker?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
thank
Ms.
you.
Kaufman.
I would ask staff, but I think that I've already confirmed that it would do no harm to let the revocation of the license agreement actually be done by this board on October 22nd. And that would be the day that the actual agreement is signed by this board. The agreement is well underway. There's no harm today in going ahead and doing the receive and file on the status update, and then allowing the actual revocation to occur on the 22nd, and that way everyone has plenty of notice and time.
Thank you, Ms. Kaufman. Commissioner Bernard?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. So what I would do is I'd make a motion to receive and file item 5D2A, and also to postpone the authorization of the revocation of the license agreement. And also, I would add to give proper notice to Transit Village of the revocation, so in that way they can be present at the October 22nd meeting.
I love that. Thank you so much, Commissioner Bernard. And before I hear a second, because I just heard it from the Vice Mayor, I'd like to call on Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. Due to the nature of the relationship with the other party in this postponement, will we be able to speak with county attorney staff to give us a better update? I mean, I've spoken with staff on some of this, but to make sure that we can have a full and candid time to have all of our questions answered before we're going to have a public meeting.
Absolutely.
Which-
And it's our position that this is a revocable license agreement. So we're just out of an abundance of courtesy and professionalism, providing some extra time.
Okay.
But yes, we can absolutely brief you individually and make sure that all your questions are answered.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Attorney. So we have a first by Commissioner Bernard, a second by the Vice Mayor, and the motion is to, well, Commissioner Bernard, do you want to restate it if necessary? Just, it's real simple. We're going to go ahead and,
Thank you, Madam Mayor, which is to receive and file item 5D2A and to postpone item 5D2B and to give notice to Transit Village of the revocation, and that the presentation would be on October 22nd.
very good. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0. Thank you so much. That was a good staff report. And if I haven't missed anything, then we are, I knew I was doing this. This is because of me. We did it. We are formally adjourned for the day. And now we are going to resume. Actually, we're not adjourned. We're in recess for 2 o'clock's Matters by the Public. And I don't think we need a break. I think we're ready to proceed, if that's okay with my colleagues. So we're going to proceed right now with Matters by the Public. Commissioner Weiss, do we have a couple of cards?
37.
We have about 37 cards. So what we're going to do, and in light of the impending storm, what I'd like to suggest, and I'm going to leave this up to my colleagues, is if you all are on a certain issue, now listen up. If you're on a certain issue and you would like to have a spokesperson or persons speak on your behalf, then we could proceed like that rather than having, what's 3 minutes time, all that. We'll be here till tonight. And I didn't bring a sleeping bag. So what do you think, my colleagues? Could we have, if we had spokespersons, or we could have a 2-minute time? Then, sir? Okay, we could do that. Let me ask my colleagues. Shall we have a couple of spokespersons come up and speak on behalf of numerous residents here? And then the rest would do 2 minutes. Okay? Okay. So it seems like that's the appetite of the board. So let's do this. You will still have time to come up and speak if you're opposed or if you're for. But it would be much more meaningful if you had a couple of spokespersons come up and speak on behalf of many of you. Okay? And I'll extend the courtesy to your spokespersons of the entire 3 minutes. Okay? And then if you're opposed to your spokespersons, you also always have the right to come up and speak. Okay? So if I could have, Commissioner Weiss, do we have any other issues other than Boca Flores? We do. Okay. What other issues do we have pending?
Some I don't know, they're not marked, some have to do with La Quinta Hotel.
Okay. Why don't we have, yes, Commissioner? I can't hear you. Okay, okay. Why don't we take animal care and control folks first? Okay? And if you could, we're going to do this in a rather interesting way today. If you are representing issues of animal care and control, if you could come up